afternoon. This is the largest free information on family emergency readiness. There's a whole exposition on it. They're going to have a lot of stuff there. They're going to have stuff from the Red Cross. They're going to have a number of different topics, such as refuse to be a victim. Now, this is geared towards women. How to build a 72-hour kit. Survive an active shooter scenario. A lot of different things there. Better to prepare you. If you are not prepared in the case of an accident, you will not survive that accident or that event. So this is a whole event, a whole expo on getting your whole family ready for an emergency readiness program. So check that out on page 10 of the Current. I actually am going to try to make it there. My wife, who is very much in preparing, she makes sure we all have go bags in our trunk and everything else. We have water in our trunk of our car. We have it in the house. She's very much into prepping. This is going to be right up her alley, so we should see you there if you're there. There's so many different neat different topics. Home invasion defense. For those of you who don't have a clue what home invasion defense is, part of that program should probably include a gun. So, but there's also stuff on how to deal with deadly smoke, fire, safety. My daughter just recently was barbecuing. And she had the barbecue setting outside her door. Her screen door was open. What she didn't know was her whole house was filling up with carbon monoxide. She ended up going inside and being rushed to the hospital, almost died from carbon monoxide poisoning from her grill that was outside. Yeah. So there's things that we need to learn how to do and prepare for, and things that we should look at and we may not think is dangerous. But you can. So you can figure this all out. Please go to this expo. Again, it is September 10th, 2016, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. In Livingston County Public Safety Complex, 1911 Tooley Road, Howell, Michigan. 1911 Tooley Road, Howell, Michigan. See you there. We have on the line with us right now Bruce Fleury, the author of The Negro Project, Margaret Sanger's Diabolical, Duplicitous, Dangerous, Disastrous, and Deadly Plan for Black America. And just as we were going off for that hard break, Bruce, I mentioned that you did not send the book to us to promote on the air. I searched you out and searched your book out and asked you to come on because I know how serious this is, because people are looking at Planned Parenthood as their friend. And meanwhile, they actually have a much more nefarious mindset, whether the employees know it or not, of carrying out, Margaret Sanger's eugenics.
Well, I think it's this is a glaring illustration of just how dumbed down people can get from being subjected to over 50 years of failed progressive liberal social policies, going all the way back to Lyndon Johnson's time and even before that. It's just astounding that so many people are out there and they've got the ability. All you got to do, if you have access to a computer, all you have to do is go online and you can look all this stuff up. That's how I did most of my research. And I'll tell you, when I was writing this thing, especially the chapters about her Margaret Sanger herself and her philosophical and spiritual connections to what was going on in Germany in the 1930s, a lot of which came about due to what she was promoting, as well as a lot of her associates.
Let's not shoot past that all too quick here. I want to step back so people can make this connection. What she was advocating is what was the inspiration behind the Third Reich and Adolf Hitler's eugenics movement.
Right. Well, Germany had its own eugenics program, but just like the United States did and Great Britain did, which I kind of outlined that in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. But when Hitler came on board, he just took that to a whole new level. They just put the whole thing on steroids, and they had forced sterilization programs, forced euthanasia programs. It's something called Lebensborn, which was a scheme by Heinrich Himmler to increase the German population through having his SS men run around and have as many liaisons as they could with women, whether they were married or not, in hopes of increasing the population in a few generations. Now, and this is beyond sick, Pastor Rick. This is evil.
Oh, I realize that, and here's what I want people to realize. If you're out there listening to thinking this is a thing of the past, you're talking about Hitler and the Third Reich, that's 1940s, and of course Margaret Sanger was before that. This is old stuff. Folks, this is not old stuff. Let me tell you, right now in our schools and our areas of higher academics, let's go to Princeton University, who holds a seat. He's the head of bioethics at Princeton University.
Peter Singer.
Peter Singer. Not Singer, Singer. I know they should sound alike.
Yeah.
But he point blank says, a child should be able to be killed up until 18 months.
Yes. Right.
18 months after birth, out of the womb.
Yeah.
So, but that's not it. He doesn't stop there. If you suffer from any dementia, Alzheimer's, you are now a candidate to be euthanized.
Yes.
If you suffer from a mental disorder, you should be euthanized. And then if you actually get into him, he believes that animals should have more rights than people.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? This is going all the way. This is all the way up to the United Nations. In their population control agenda 21.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now, John Holdren, the lead science advisor to Barack Obama, said this in a book called Eco Science, which he co-published with Paul Ehrlich back in the 1970s. He said, "Indeed, it has been concluded that compulsory population control laws, even including laws requiring compulsory abortion, could be sustained under the existing Constitution if the population crisis became sufficiently severe to endanger the society." This is the guy that's got Obama's ear.
Right.
Wow.
Now, just to explain on this, right now in China, they can force you to have an abortion, especially if they find out you're going to have a female or a female child. That they can force you to have an abortion. Matter of fact, but to keep the numbers down, they limit how many kids you can have. We sit here and decry that and call that inhumane.
Right.
Yet, what that quote just told me is within our Constitution, they could find a way to force women to have abortion if it was for the good of the country.
Right. And you know what? I had great conversations with several prominent pro-life members, folks on a national level, including Johnny Hunter, who is the head of the Life Education and Resources Network down in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And he told me, how can we even express the least little bit of outrage at what ISIS is doing when what we're doing to children just before the moment of birth is just as bad.
Yeah.
Partial birth abortion. We know what that is.
Yep.
I have a question, Bruce, because I've heard numbers, and I want to see if your numbers kind of go along with mine. Here we are in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
How many, and I want to be very specific to race, because we're talking about Margaret Sanger's Negro Project. How many in the black population are murdered by abortion a day? Do you have that number?
Well, the numbers I had, they're estimates of that, and they're pretty good numbers. National Black Pro-Life Congress, I know, they always have some pretty solid numbers. 3,000 abortions every day performed in the United States, at least one-third of which are performed on black females, so that comes out to
1,000. 1,000, 1/3 of 3,000. I'm a mathematician too, I guess.
and another thing Reverend Hunter pointed out to me is you got to stop and think about this. I mean, we didn't just lose these 20 million folks over in the years since Roe versus Wade. We lost 20 million descendants.
Right.
We don't know what we've lost. We don't know what great scientists, what great educators, entertainers, community leaders. Or just
scientists,
plain, decent, honest folks, the kind of people upon which great republics are built. Okay. We will never know because they're not here.
I want to go back to that number. 1,000 black Americans murdered every day by abortion.
Yes.
Right.
1,000. Do you understand? People, I want you to wrap your head around that number. 1,000 people a day murdered. And in centers that are aimed and targeting to actually do exactly that and to eliminate the black race in this country. Now, here's my question is, 1,000 black children murdered today. Where is Black Lives Matter right now yelling about 1,000 lives being murdered every day by these clinics, by these true supremacists that want to eliminate it and being told that it's their right to kill their child, so do it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And Yeah, and there's another word I probably could have included in the subtitle. You could throw in the word devastating too, because that's what we're looking at. And it isn't just this demographic group, guys. It is spilling over into other groups: whites, Hispanics, even Asians. And it is just we can't keep this up. We cannot keep this up without severe and long-lasting damage to our social fabric, to our economy. And you cannot make this up with immigration.
I got just a second right there. I got to do this because this company has been a supporter of the current newspaper, and they help financially through advertising and everything else. Folks, J&M Landscaping, Tree Division, they do it all. They do tree division. They take care of your full landscaping. You can get free estimates. Go to J&M Landscaping or give them a call at 248-640-7029. I'm going to repeat that again because I just totally tore it up the first time. 248-640-7029. You can check them out on the web at jandmlandscapingmichigan.com, J&M Landscaping Michigan, or .com. Check them out. They're out of Whitmore Lake. For all your landscaping needs, they do it all right down to the trees. And thank them for supporting such great shows as Gary Wellings' show here, The Drift. And I also want to thank him for giving me this time to talk. So we're on the phone right now with Bruce Fleury, the author of The Negro Project, Margaret Sanger's Diabolical, Duplicitous, Dangerous, Disastrous, and Deadly Plan for Black America. And as he just said, he wished he could have thrown another D word in there, which was devastating.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, exactly.
And death.
Yeah, and death.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we have to call this what it is. A lot of people get upset because we call that murder. And they refer, and I've got to go into this angle right now. We refer to it as murder, and they say, well, don't throw your religious beliefs on me, as though the concept of that child being murdered is a religious belief.
Yes.
One of the things that I'm talking about dumbing down is it doesn't take it long for it to sink in. You get the realization that this would not go on if people realize that what these individuals, what these groups, these organizations are trying to do is to dehumanize the unborn child.
Right. They have
and look at the terminology. Massive cells, web of tissue, blob of protoplasm.
Well, my part in educating, first, I'm going to cut in. My part of educating people, first of all, as a pastor, they expect me to come at them from a religious point of view. And what I find is that if I do that, they turn off immediately and they stop listening. Mm-hmm. So I have to talk to them from a different point of angle, and that is using science.
Yes.
That is using just regular natural law of morals and ethics outside of the religious point of view.
Yeah.
And so I have to talk to them at that point, and they have to admit, at this point, when a child is conceived in the womb, the second it is conceived in the womb, everything is there for that child to become a 90-year-old man.
Yes.
Everything is there for that child to become a 90-year-old man. And you got to look at it that way. We're all at different points within our development. And if you look at the science books at the colleges that teach medicine, they say that embryo, that zygote, let's go before the zygote, before the embryo, that zygote, from the very beginning of the cell split, they refer to as a human in the earliest forms of division, earliest form of
development.
Development. Thank you. I'm so frustrated with these people right now.
Yes.
So it is a human. Everything is there. The womb is not an assembly line where here we are adding on the legs this week, and next week we're going to assemble and add on the feet, and now we're gonna put in the heart. Now that's not how it works. It's all there.
Nope. Yes.
Exactly, and the thing is, guys, like I was saying earlier, about dehumanizing the unborn child. That is why these people hate to see the use of sonograms and ultrasounds, which show and it would seem, which to me is almost a no-brainer, guys, because are we that stupid now as a society that we need to have a picture, like we have to draw you a picture type of thing, so we can see it. I mean. And most, and I won't say most, but a good number of women who go into these places, the doctor and that sort of thing, and they see the baby growing inside the womb, and they say, "Wait a minute, I can't do this.
Yes.
This is another human being," and they can't not stand it.
No,
they hate it.
Well,
but they use sonograms, Phil. They use sonogram in abortion mills in order to facilitate the procedure.
There's a young
That's
lady.
what they use it for.
There was a young lady who I was counseling. I cannot give her name, but before coming on, I asked if I could at least tell a little bit of her story.
Yeah.
Talking about the sonograms. She went in and they said they made me have one of these. She was going to go in for an abortion. They made me have one of these, and they did the sonogram. And as they did the sonogram, the child reached out with a hand, then rubbed its eye, and took a